This whole question of Donald Trump and you know, what he's doing and how it's working and all this sort of stuff, basically the crimes he has committed against America, I think are really consequential. Chris Cillizza this morning points out that, you know, in his town hall, he suggested that it was fortunate, well, actually in his deposition, that stars have been able to grab women by their private parts for millions of years. He reiterated that on his town hall. He praised January 6th as a beautiful day. He called a black police officer a thug, something that he constantly calls black people thugs. It's his word for black person. He referred to E. Jean Carroll as a whack job, to applause from the audience, by the way. He said the Republicans should allow the country to default on its debt. Brilliant. He refused to say whether Ukraine should win the war with Russia. He refused to say whether Putin was a war criminal. He admitted that he purposely removed classified documents. He refused to say if he'd concede in 2024 if he loses the election. And he suggested that tearing children from their parents at the border is a good thing. Meanwhile, we're seeing, you know, PTSD being developed by Republicans. There's a fascinating story in the Washington Post in which Bill Gates, not the billionaire, but the lifelong Republican member of the Arizona Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, a county commissioner basically in Arizona, lifelong Republican, and you know, he was one of the guys who certified the election for Joe Biden in Arizona. And as a result, Donald Trump's people just went on a rampage against him and his children and his wife, you know, and I mean, just, you know, awful, awful stuff. As members of Congress, this is from the Washington Post, about 1,000 Trump loyalists protested, this was on January 6th, 2001, protested outside the state capitol in Phoenix, where they erected a guillotine. They were carrying rifles. Gates watched on television in disbelief as rioters climbed the U.S. Capitol steps. What he had mistaken as tough talk was actually the impetus of a violent attempt to overthrow the government. Gates worried his family may not be safe in their home. They had labeled him a traitor, and he was worried that a mob might come for him. He said he began suffering PTSD on the heels of this. He was told he was a traitor who should be hanged. Another person said he should be shot. One person said that his daughters were going to be raped as his punishment. He worried that his Fox News watching parents were turning against him. His usual cheerfulness and optimism evaporated. He started to lose sleep. He lost his appetite. He began to question his own worth. His wife said she no longer recognized him. His daughters stopped asking him for help with their problems. He was consumed by feelings of abandonment over his strained relationships with his fellow Republicans. And eventually, in May of last year, he sought therapy. He had developed high blood pressure, anxiety, headaches, and insomnia. He said, "I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the most dynamic speaker, but I was always, like, honest. I had integrity. They've taken that away from me forever." They, Donalders. Are you experiencing PTSD from this? And and particularly think of the impact that this is having on people of color and religious and gender minorities. Kansas right now, the Republican Party in Kansas, the Wichita Eagle reports that Mike Brown, who is the chairman of the party, is trying to remove from the leadership of the Kansas Republican Party the heads of the Kansas Republican National Hispanic Assembly and the Kansas Black Republican Council. To, you know, a group of black Republicans and Hispanic Republicans. He wants them out. Nothing but white people here in Kansas. That's it. We're the GOP. We only want white people, he's saying. Meanwhile, down in Florida, the Florida State Education Department just pulled 2 more books from high school curriculum, both on the Holocaust. One is called Modern Genocides. It also has an online learning course, and the other is called History of the Holocaust. Again, for high school students. And, you know, but in Florida, they don't want kids learning about this, apparently. I mean, this has just got to be really tough. You know, I'm an old white guy, you know, an old straight white guy at that. And I can get what kind of pain people who are gay or lesbian or trans or black or Hispanic or Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist or Hindu must be experiencing in Trump's America. Anyway, we'll be right back.